Hi everyone, my name is Emmanuel Omoro Aruna. I am from Nigeria. I am a senior policy and research analyst working with the Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning in Nigeria, where I'm responsible for designing, coordinating, and implementing government policies, plan, projects, and programs at national and subnational level. I will be lecturing today on a topic: how empathy can contribute to social enterprises in the 21st century. Yeah, let us begin with the general background, right? Looking at the connection between the empathy and social enterprises, how it evolved within time, right? The poverty remains a global issue as inequality continues to widen day by day, particularly in developing countries. So globally, there are more than 3 billion people, right, that lives less than $2.5 per day, and more than 1.3 billion live in extreme poverty with less than $1.25 a day, according to UNDP in 2015. Yeah. And the same, around approximately 1 billion children worldwide are living in poverty, and 22,000 children die every day due to poverty, according to UNICEF in 2015 also. Now, how can we marry both empathy and social enterprises together? Promoting social enterprises intervention along those three key sectors: the public sector, the private sector, and the third sector, which is NGO sector. How can we connect in terms of project design that are all inclusive, that can move around within the three sectors? So it's what we'll be discussing today. Let us look at the concept called empathy and social enterprises. Empathy is a Greek term, refers to empathia, coined by Rudolf Lotze in 1858, which means an ability to recognize oneself in another, right? It is simply, let us put it this way, putting oneself into another person. So if we do that process, right, we understand how people feel, how their position and even their needs, right, in taking decision against on what affects them, right? Above all, it's like we are treating others how we want to be treated, right? So empathy is related to social enterprise because it is a kind of a passive motivation to action. It's like a call to action. So according to Hodiguen in 2012. Yeah. Then let us look briefly on what social enterprises is all about. Social enterprises in an organization that marries the social mission of a non-profit or government programs with the market-driven approach to a business or of a business, right? So basically, social enterprises has two main goals. Goal number one is to achieve social, cultural, community, economic, and environmental outcomes. And the goal number two is to earn revenue. It's like a kind of a connection. In this site, we are providing service that solve community issue. On the other side, we are also making revenue to keep us in business, right? In addition, it is like a kind of a cost-driven business whose primary reasons for being is to improve social objectives, right? And to serve common goods in a community. So the concept of social enterprise was developed in the UK in 1970s, right? To counter the traditional commercial enterprises. Yeah. So since then, it provides services to low-income households, particularly in neglected communities or hard-to-reach areas, right? Particularly the disadvantaged groups. So, but profits still play an essential role in the sustaining a social venture, right? So the portion of organization earning is used to give back to the community. So that is how the concept of social enterprises comes. So it's like it has two faces, one with the human face and one with the business face. So when we marry the two, we should be able to assist in solving community issue vis-a-vis making a kind of social impact. Then the question arose, what are the rules of empathy in social enterprises? Like I mentioned earlier, social enterprises is a new concept in business model. So social enterprises has like two cardinal faces: business profit driven and helping people in community to solve issues, community challenges, right? So the best approach would be that we should have a kind of 60% of business item being developed with a human face, right? That is targeted at solving issues. And the 40% should be completely a business model that will assist organizations to stay active in business and going forward to implement their activities. In the recent days, donor agencies funding keep decreasing, right? An organization needs to stay active to continue providing those essential services. So when you look at the market-driven economy that ensure profit in one hand, that not necessarily addressing the well-being of the people, like community issues, environmental impact, and stuff like that. So that is where empathy now comes to play an important role. If we have a market-driven economy that looks up to profit, how can we make profit? And without really taking into consideration the community issues, the community challenges, right? So it becomes very difficult for us to achieve the SDGs. So if we are designing our intervention along the social enterprises concept that consider those issues that revolve around the community needs and people's need with an empathy being embedded into the business, I think it could go a long way in providing solution to the contemporary issues that the world is currently facing. So if organization embraces empathy, right, so they can stay fast in terms of addressing these common causes in community. So charity organizations and donor agencies are looking to invest in social enterprises related projects, right? Especially those projects that are being focused in addressing the poor in rural areas. So projects with a kind of concept of empathy quickly get accepted, by donors agency in recent days because it is sustainable, one. Two, it is inclusive. Three, it responds to community needs. And four, provide practical solution in addressing community problems. Then how do we conclude this lecture? We conclude by saying, going forward, there are a lot of questions that we need to address in marrying the two between empathy and social enterprises. Question number one is, how do we design projects while embracing empathy? Question number two, are social enterprises committed to providing sustainable solutions to community challenges? And the last question is, how do they seek funding for project implementations? So if we take those three questions into consideration and we address them, so we should be able to get a kind of clear direction on how to marry both two concepts into one another. Please join our next episode and get yourself abreast with those answers. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.